world's a little louder.
The sandals have been swapped for sneakers, and the apostles still trying to figure out Google Maps and grace. 13 men, one Messiah, and Paul, the neighbor who came over for hummus and never left. It's faith, fails, and modern day miracles. This is Jesus in the City. Modern adventures, eternal truths. In this week's episode, love thy loud, angry neighbors.
Sunday morning began with peace, until the crash, a scream, then the unmistakable sound of glass shattering through drywall, and dignity. Someone yelled, "I don't need therapy, you need therapy!" Bartholomew ducked instinctively behind the kitchen island. Jesus sipped his coffee without flinching. "Ah," he murmured, "the Johnsons are up." Thomas peeked out the window like a nosy grandmother. He reported the details like he'd seen a prophecy fulfilled, something about a yoga ball and a limping husband. Philip read a marriage book upside down. James and John debated intervention versus avoidance. Paul laced up his Timberlands with apostolic zeal. "I'll go rebuke them in love." Jesus simply said, "We're not here to fix them. We're here to see them." Later that morning, Jesus knocked on the Johnsons' door, carrying 2 plates of overcooked pancakes. The door creaked open to reveal red faces and crossed arms. He smiled and offered pancakes. There was hesitation, silence. And then they accepted. The apostles huddled behind the peephole, gasped like they'd just seen Lazarus walk out in sweats. Out on the balcony, the air was cooler, softer. Jesus sat with the couple. No sermons, just presence. He listened. The man spoke first, mumbling about how she used to laugh and how they used to dance in the kitchen. Now it was just broken plates and silence. She added, eyes downcast, that she missed herself, missed him. Jesus looked at them both. Marriage isn't just a promise you made. It's a picture of the promise I made. Back at the apartment, the apostles assembled a peace basket. It included chamomile tea, a stress ball, and a coupon for one free couples game night. Matthew protested the hosting duty. Teasingly, Peter reminded him he once created a 14-tab spreadsheet for charades. That night, the Johnsons knocked on the apostles' door. They came in, laughed a little, and even stayed for dessert. Hope lingered like candle smoke. But healing isn't linear. A week later, at midnight, the fighting returned. Doors slammed, accusations echoed down the hallway. She said the word no one wanted to hear. Divorce. Jesus met them outside their door. He didn't speak immediately. He waited.
And then, softly but firmly, marriage is the only human relationship I use to describe how I love the church. That love doesn't quit when it gets loud. It covers, it carries, it dies to itself and rises again. The next morning, Jesus sat on the stoop with a man who now looked more exhausted than angry. He confessed, "I thought love was a feeling. I didn't know it was a cross." Jesus nodded, "It's both. Butterflies and burden, grace and grit. But covenant isn't based on performance, it's based on promise." Moments later, she approached, eyes swollen but softer. They talked, not loudly, not perfectly, but they chose to try again, not to feel differently, but to love differently. That night, the apostles sat on the rooftop with Jesus. Fireworks crackled from some distant rooftop party. Bartholomew asked the question that was on all their hearts. "Think they'll make it?" Jesus answered, not with certainty, but with clarity. "Not on their own. But love like mine doesn't depend on what the other deserves. It depends on what you're willing to give." The next Sunday morning was unusually quiet. No yelling, no slamming, just humming from the Johnsons' kitchen and laughter. Peter called it a miracle. Jesus corrected him. Sanctification. In a world quick to cut ties, Jesus calls us to covenant. Marriage was never about perfection. It was about reflection, a reflection of Christ's love for the church. Ephesians 5 verse 25 says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." Love isn't just romance, it's sacrifice. It's showing up when it's hard. It's laying down pride and picking up grace. It's saying, I still do, again and again and again. And that's another day in the city, where grace shows up in paper thin walls, late night arguments, and second chances.
If this made you laugh, think, or feel a little closer to Jesus, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a modern parable today.
Thanks for watching Jesus in the City, Modern Adventures, Eternal Truths, where the stories are ancient, but the lessons still walk among us.
Catch the next episode. Same God, same faith, same baptism, new twist.